Hello everybody and welcome to Picked! Exclamation point. This is not a sold video, but a haul video. So yesterday my client sent me a text and he said, hey, you out picking? Because it's 50% off day. And my little tiny baby was sick. And I said, no, I wasn't able to go out. And a couple hours later, my wife was home and take care of the baby, so I thought I'm gonna go out and pick today. And I figured I'd do a video, but I figured I would also keep track of what I paid, when it sold. I think I'll update these in my sold videos. I'll just say, hey, I sold 2 items from that pick, and then this is the update on the return. What I'll also do is come up with how I figure out overhead and how I assign costs to an individual lot. It's a little bit of either production management or managerial accounting. But not everybody has taken those classes, so I figured I'd give it my best shot and maybe teach a little something. I'll do my best. So we'll get into it. I don't really have a time limit for this video. I'm going to go through everything I bought yesterday. I went to two thrift shops, the 2 that were closest to me, which a few months ago wasn't true. One had closed down, one of my favorite ones, so that was too bad. But the third closest to me was actually my favorite store, so that worked out well. I'm just going to go through it, tell you what I paid. If I have any information about the item or what I was thinking when I was picking, I will go through that. I think I looked up 4 items on eBay. I tend not to look a lot of items up because we're trying to do this quickly. And I think 3 of them I didn't buy. So usually looking something up on eBay is to eliminate the item. One was I'm going to forget his first name, Newsom for the Packers. He was a safety, I think. And there was one that was like $6. It was real beat up. And he's a lesser known player. He's not Brett Favre. He's not Donald Driver. He's not Ahman Green. And I grabbed it, and then I was like, it's pretty beat up. If it was in good condition, I wouldn't have looked it up because, it's $15, $20 jersey no matter what. But they were a lot available, so I was real happy I looked it up. There was a ton available in that condition. I'd have to sell it for 10 shipped. That's not worth it. So eBay saved me $6, or saved me the work it takes to list it, and $1 for the pleasure of the time it took to list it. All right, let's get into it. I will talk about what I paid and why I bought it. So first one, remember these are all half off. The first one is a no-name Iowa State Cyclones hoodie, full zip. What I like about this, because it's a no-namer, is it's all sewn and it's got the nice mascot patch. I love mascots. I love mascots. I think they sell well, but I think too is I like the mascot so much that whenever it does sell, it's more like confirmation bias. That I'm like, see, I'm right. It sells well. I think it sells better. I don't think I'm the only one, but this is a no-name brand. It's just It's just a Gildan tag. I paid $4.50 for this. Anytime you get a sewn sweatshirt of a school, $5. That's pretty much an instant buy. As long as it's clean and in good condition, there's no reason to worry about $5. Next up is this. This is pretty cool. I didn't know what it was. I looked it up. This was the 4th thing I looked up, and I couldn't find any listings for it on eBay. it was an interesting graphic, and because I couldn't find anything on eBay, I took a shot, paid $1.25, so I wasn't risking a whole lot. When I got home, I did some more research, and this is a local Minneapolis or Minnesota band. So it's the band shirt of a band that's not super popular. But I think the design is great. I think the fact that it is a band shirt is good rather than just an art shirt that you would find at Hot Topic. It's actually related to music, so that's good. Next up is a Chief Wahoo. It's a Majestic. I don't have a year on it. It's a screen print tag, which has fallen off already for the most part. But Chief Wahoo has been retired. The Indians don't get too crazy about this stuff. The Indians are still going to release heritage releases with Chief Wahoo. So just because they're not wearing it on field doesn't mean they're going to stop producing the item. The reason why they have to, is if they stop producing a certain trademark, after a while it goes back to the public domain, and then anybody can produce it. So they're going to produce heritage items to keep their trademark alive. Paid $2.50 for this. I thought the design was really good. With the retirement of Chief Wahoo, I would expect it to be a pretty quick sale. Next up, we got an NFL store, Brett Favre script shirt. These are I've found these before. I think this might be my third Brett Favre, but there's different players. They don't sell for a lot, but I'm in Minnesota. I sell a lot of Packers stuff. I'm gonna sell a Brett Favre item. It was $1. So even in but that's one of those that are I can't remember what I referred to it as. It's authentic wear. It's sort of worn down, but it's very evenly worn down, and I'm not going to get a premium for that. And if anything, I'm going to have to lower my price for that. But there are people who are going to want that over a brand new one. So there's that. So this is great. So this is a Nike Packer football. Well, it's not that great. It's Packers, but but it's a Pro Line. On the back, you got Pro Line. Pro Line in the 90s was a very expensive license, and I think it was the most expensive license for the NFL. And there was a bidding war on who could do Pro Line stuff. Pro Line stuff was the items you would manufacture that the coaches and the players would wear on the sidelines, and so it was a very desirable contract to get for these companies. So this was a Nike one. It's a Pro Line one. These were a lot more expensive on the retail market. So I got to go back to my Wayback Machine to figure out what stuff was priced at in 95. This is probably a 95. The tag tells me that. But it also tells me, I just kind of remember, if I did my research, it's 95, 96, 97, somewhere in that area. But if a regular Packers shirt made by Logo Athletic this year was $8.99, this might be a $19.99 shirt. So more expensive, less people bought them, so there's not as much as this out there. I paid $175 for that. This was, I tend not to spend more than $3 on a t-shirt. This one I spent $4.50 on, but it was a huge logo. Steve Nash is one of those fan favorites, even though he is I would argue a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's been retired long enough. It's just this big logo, but it's also 2XL. So I didn't have to look this up, and even though I was paying 50% more than my high on a shirt, I don't know if I'll probably price it at $25. But let's say there was a bunch of them for sale, because I didn't look it up in the store. And let's say there's a bunch for sale and I can only get 15. And so I'm paying 5, I'm getting 15. It's first class, so shipping's not so bad. That's not something I really want to do, except that I'm trying to get buyers to follow me because I can find cool stuff. And sometimes I'll take a lot smaller of a margin just because an item is really nice and really cool, and I want to be the guy that sells it to you. So that would be a shirt where if I came home, I looked it up, and it was 15 shipped, I'd be like, okay. But then at the same time, I'm happy I get to sell it, and it'll be a quick sale regardless because it's a great shirt, and the 2XL makes it much more desirable because it's just a lot less choices, 2XL and above. This is Minnesota Timberwolves. There's no missing buttons. I checked it. It's not all buttoned all the way up. It's a sleeveless baseball jersey. It's pretty simple. It was $1.75. It's Lee Sport. I think this will be a $20 list. I'll probably take 20 ships. So if somebody offers me 15 plus 5, I'll take that. This is a real nice Minnesota State Mavericks crew neck. Nothing special about the. Yeah, so this is paid $225. This is a Champion Eco tag, and the Eco tag doesn't provide any extra value. Champion reverse weave. If this was a reverse weave, so I'm going to price this at $24.99. But I'd take a $20 offer on it. If it was a reverse weave, I'd be at more like $39.99. Next up, we have this is a Crable, and I'll show you the tag. Paid $2 for this. This is a Crable sportswear tag. Crable in the 90s was a very high-end brand, and this was just a great design. It's not related to any specific event, which I think is an asset. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip you guys off there. So I just thought it was a great design, very simple, very classic. Crable, again, was a higher-end sportswear company. They had all the licenses for the major sports. I don't know if all 4 sports. I don't know if I've ever seen a hockey Crable. But that I thought was a very nice pick. I'll probably price that at $29.99, and that's based not on the brand but on the design. I just think it's such a classic design that people like it. I paid a little more for this shirt. I'm paying a lot for shirts. This is $19.99. It's dated. It's one of the reasons why I was willing to pay more. It doesn't appear to ever have been worn. It's a big, big logo. Majestic, which doesn't add a ton of value. I paid $4.75, almost $5 for the shirt. I never pay $5 for a t-shirt, but this will be Majestic tag. It's XL, but it's a big XL. But I don't think it's ever been washed. It's ever been worn, so this is gonna get some shrinking. When that happens, I actually put that in the condition note. And I don't put it there to try to boost up that it's been unworn. I put it there to try to communicate to my buyer that, hey, this is probably going to shrink the first time you wash it. So I got my measurements down here, but it's going to shrink, and I don't know how much. I just think that's a value add for my customers. They can't tell, just based on how it feels. You know how you can feel a brand new shirt when it's never been washed. You can kind of tell. And I think by giving that information, I can say, hey, if you can barely fit in this shirt, it's not going to fit you. Don't buy it. I'd rather have somebody not buy my item than buy it and have it shrink on the first one. I'm a big guy. That happens a lot to me, and it's always a tragedy. Next up, we got I believe this is this is a Champion reverse weave, but on a newer tag. So it's not on the brand new tag. So one day I should just do a video with the tag. So this is sort of the in-between reverse weave tag. There you go. So the real big one, maybe like that. That's the newest reverse weave tag. Doesn't add a ton of extra value. This is in between that one and the one that's mostly white. And so this is Wartburg College. I like small schools. I don't even know where Wartburg College is, but if I've never heard of it, I grab it immediately. I paid $4.50. $4.50 for a crew neck is a solid price. It's not a cheap price. It's not an expensive price. Next up, we got a vintage. I keep flipping you guys off, man. I really do appreciate you watching. I don't mean to. I don't mean to flip you off. This is a vintage 90s, and you can tell, made in the USA. That tag, you can just, it just sort of has that 90s feel to it, and it's made in the USA, so it's going to be pre-2000 most likely. I just liked it. I like buying conservation apparel. I have this one really, really nice conservation sweatshirt. I'm going to move over here so I can block the light. I flipped you off again. I have this really cool Rams conservation sweatshirt that I hope somebody gets and wears to a Super Bowl party. I think it's unrelated to the Los Angeles Rams or the St. Louis Rams. It's just like a really cool Ram, and he's standing out at the end of the mountain. And I think you put your Rams hat on with it. I mean, you got something a lot cooler than somebody wearing, LA Rams shirt, So, okay, next one is Straight Jack It. Took me a few searches to figure out who this was. This is another local band, so my guess is one guy donated his collection. This is a local Minnesota band. Again, a really cool graphic. I think somebody will like it. Paid $2.50 for that. And maybe I should do these and get them out of the way. I don't normally buy accessories, but I thought this was cool. Camo now gloves with that sort of tactical material on the top. I didn't look this up in the store, but when I got home, new ones sell for $35. I'm gonna price it at $20. I paid $2.50, so that should be a nice little sale. I picked up 2 St. Paul Saints hats. These are actually pretty common. These were stadium giveaways, but I'm into them for $1.50 a piece. And I've sold. This is what happens when you've been selling for a while. I've sold 3 or 4 of those. I know they sell, and so that makes it easy to buy when you know what's gonna sell. Here's a Theory of a Dead Man concert hat. Something merchandise that they sold at the concert. Relatively good condition. It's a stretch fit, which I find puzzling. I mean, you'd figure it'd be a snapback. Small and medium, which isn't so great, but I paid $2, so I'm real happy with that. I don't know what I'll price it for. There's one other one listed, probably $20. I don't think it's a relatively new item, maybe in the last 10 years or so. And but there's not a lot of supply, so that's good. So this I was unsure about. I paid $4.50 for it. It's got a screen print tag, which means it's not vintage. But what I really liked was the swoosh on the big swoosh on the sleeve. And, it's a simple black and red. Whoa. There you go. It's a simple black and red, black and red shirt. I might take a bath on it. I might only be able to get $10 shipped, and then I'm gonna make $1. I made $1, but it's not really worth the time. Next up is an item that I looked at it and just was like, nope, and walked away. Here's an Aaron Hernandez jersey, newest tags. It is, this is the guy that murdered a couple people. And I walked back at $34.99, which means it was $17.50. The price was too high, and, screw this guy, right? And I'm looking in the other aisle, and I said, you know what, I better look this up. And, oh, so that means I would have looked up 5 things yesterday. I looked it up, and prices are 75, 80, and that's for the ones without tags. So I was like, gotta grab it. We all have our moral lines, and I'm somebody who, like, I wouldn't sell Nazi memorabilia. That's just, no, that's not for me. But I don't judge people that do. History and preserving history is an important thing, and that's one of the things that collectors do for society. I really believe that. I believe that collectors, they're the reason why we have artifacts to look at. You take a pot that was made 800 BC, and for whatever reason, that family just kept passing it down. It's just a pot. It's not an 800 BC pot and 700 BC. It's just an old pot that grandma had, it's not an antique. It's not collectible. But because there are a certain personality likes to collect things, like to hold on to things, then by the time that pot became a big deal, well, there's only a few left because there's only a few people willing to preserve, for whatever reason, couldn't get rid of it. And so that's one of those things. I'm going to draw my line where I'm going to draw my line. I probably would sell Black Americana, but I wouldn't go out looking for it. It depends on the item. I wouldn't be a Nazi salesperson. Aaron Hernandez, I don't have a problem with. I wouldn't have a problem with Mark Jackson Hoops card if I had a bunch of them with the Menendez brothers on it. If I had a stack of them, I would have sold those. You just have to figure out where your line is for what you want to sell and what you're not willing to sell. And, it's personal preference. All right, we got a South Dakota State Jackrabbit full zip hoodie. I don't believe this is a big deal brand. No. $450 for a full zip hoodie with patch script on it. $450 is good. All right, next one is a Gustavus Adolphus Golden Gusty's athletic department, football crew neck. What's nice about this one is this is actually an older the Cotton Exchange tag. Sometimes you'll see this with a tag that says TCX. That's the Cotton Exchange. This is a much higher quality item. The Cotton Exchange is real high quality. What's nice about this too is you can also tell, again, I talk about this a lot, and I don't know if we can see it. See if we can't. So you can see here with the stitching, it's got rib sides on them. The rib sides are usually an indicator of a higher quality item or higher quality sweatshirt. Next up is Michael Kadire, Colorado Rockies stadium giveaway jersey. I would usually look these up and see if they're worth selling, but I'm opening a shop. Michael Kadire is a very popular player, and worst case, somebody's going to come in the store and want to pick it up. $3.75. It was also $3.75. So even if I sell it for $15, that's like 8 ounces. So it's like a $3 ship. This was a Reebok I3 Allen Iverson brand jersey. These, if you find sewn ones and ones that look really nice, they're very common. Don't immediately think you got bank when you have it, because you probably don't. I paid I paid $6 for this. This is way more than I normally would pay for an Iverson jersey, but the orange I thought was weird. He usually has red and black as his primary colors, and this is a very strange colorway. I did a quick search, and there were no orange jerseys, which is good. But he did have a shoe release that was had a primarily orange colorway. So I'm gonna match that jersey with those shoes and note that in the listing. So I think that was a good pick. I got a feeling that there's not a ton of those orange ones available. So this is a plain Minnesota Twins sewn patch, which is cool, but lower end jersey. This is just a fan jersey. It's not a not an authentic. It's not even a replica. It's just a blank fan jersey. $6. I'll do $6 on this. I'll probably price it $24.99 and be happy. So this is a Iowa State Cyclones hoodie, the pullover hoodie. I really like the design. It was a very wild design, very festive design. It has, it's new because it has this. It's not screen print. It's like printed, and I don't really know the process, but it's a process that didn't really exist until a little while ago. And I paid $4.50 for that, so the price is right. It's a fun hoodie. Someone's gonna really like that one. Next up is a Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. This isn't a particularly rare logo, but it's a very popular minor league logo. People really like it. Timber Rattlers, why not? The brand's not anything special. It's a Jansport, which is good, but not, super special. $1.25. So that's an easy pick because it's just gonna sell. It'll be a $9.99 shirt. It's not. I won't price that up. This is and I don't know the team name because I didn't look it up, but it's a ECHL league team. I've had an item of theirs before. I just can't think of their name, so I'm gonna have to Google it. Great logo, nice big logo. It's fun. $2.75, and it's a 2XL, I believe. So price is under $3 and 2XL. Good. Good logo. All right, we got ourselves a wrestling find. Iowa Hawkeyes Wrestling. What I liked about this was, again, you got a mascot logo. I'm a big fan. And I like this little Hawkeye patch on the sleeve. I mean, little things like that help sell your item. I will probably do either $19.99 or $24.99. And hopefully you'll be seeing that again in a sold video very soon. So I don't sell pants, but I do sell shorts. I actually don't look for shorts every time I pick because I'm kind of picky with it. This just happened to be, Moorhead. So this is Minnesota State Moorhead Dragons. Would have been just a, probably something sold in the bookstore. $1.75. I'll put $14.99 on it. Maybe I take 10, so maybe take 15 shipped. Next up, we got a full zip windbreaker. It's Jimmy Connors. Jimmy Connors was a very popular tennis player, and I actually never found a Jimmy Connors branded item of anything ever. And so I saw this. It's really great. It's purple and black, and it's got this great teal and white triangle. Relatively basic, but I like the triangles a lot. I like the black and the purple. Not a lot of Jimmy Connors jackets are for sale on eBay right now, but I really like this colorway. Some of the colorways they have are kind of plain. I will probably do maybe 40 on that one, 40 or 50. It's not an Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi is going to be big money, and it's not a Nike. But we'll price that up a little bit because it's real fun. So this is a Next Level shirt. They do sort of parody shirts. It's Miller Lite, and I've seen that little robot dude before. It's a reference to some cultural something. I paid $2.25 for the Jimmy Connors jacket, $1.25 for this tee. Next up is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie release shirt. I don't have a lot of television and movie items, so I'll I try to grab them even if they're relatively new. This is relatively new. But it's kind of cool to have the specific theater on it. This would be Carmike Cinemas. Probably in Minnesota or Wisconsin somewhere. I paid 75 cents, so that's not bad. But I do want to bolster my my television and movie items. I'm so heavy sports. I try to look for music and television movies. So we got a 2011 Frozen 4 shirt. Now I wouldn't grab all of these. This was $1, so I would have grabbed any year for $1. What's nice about this one's gonna get priced up a little bit because of this guy. That is a defunct logo now and very in demand. But it's also being purchased because of RPI, and I can't remember RPI, Rhode Island something. I can't remember where they are, but that is a team that not super successful in the major sport. So those the alumni from that school, I probably buy their items up whenever I get a super small school, but they were in a championship game or whatever. It's usually a quick sell, but it's gonna get priced up because of the Fighting Sioux logo. Here we got a Green Bay, I believe the Dragons. It's the University of Wisconsin campus. 125 gear for sport, so just sort of a general brand, but nice big script, nice big graphic. That should sell. This, I didn't know what this was, but I just liked it, and it was $2.50. But this G-Foot is actually a brand for the Gorillaz band. So I was very happy with that. It's new. It's 2017, so it's not an old one, but there's not a lot of supply. So ended up being a good pick. And last item up is a local high school, New Prague Trojans. It's likely a gamer. Paid $2.25 for it. I do real well on, I'm in Minnesota, so local high school hockey sells well. I mean, it's not going to be a high-priced item, but it'll be a $35 jersey. Shows a little game use, so that's cool. Who's buying that? Well, I've sold some hockey jerseys to a hockey museum, a Minnesota hockey museum. So I sold a number of them to that museum. So that's always cool. They have a huge archive of Minnesota jerseys. It's really cool. They also sell custom jerseys. So I really like selling to them. But I really think the main market is like dads and moms. And, they kids on the team. And there's probably not even a hockey jersey for sale at the school bookstore. And if it was, it'd be $100. They're going to get it from me for $35. So everybody's going to be happy in that standpoint. That's what I got. So what I'll do is, I'm not quite sure. I think maybe I'll make a separate video and we'll go through what I paid, how many items they are, how I'm going to assign overhead to that pick, which is not something I do, but I figured it may be kind of cool to interject a little bit of accounting theory in the video. It's something that I know how to do. So, but what I really want to do is I want to demonstrate how you need to think about how much money you made. A lot of people will go, I bought it for $5, I sold it for $10, I made $5. Well, that's not true. Did you drive to the store and that was the only item you bought? Well, how far away was it? 5 miles? Well, that's $2.50 off that item. Did you have to store it? Now, if you're just buying one item at a time, you probably don't even calculate that. But for me, I can't use my basement. My basement's full of inventory, so I have to assign that storage overhead to my item. Now, I don't do that in a micro sense like I'm going to do with this. I do it in a macro sense for yearly sales. But I'll discuss how I would do that if I wanted to really analyze a particular pick. So I think I'll do a separate video, and then I think I'll do my updates and my sold videos. Hope you enjoyed seeing what I picked. Nothing amazing. The Hernandez jersey is probably the highest priced item. I'm going to actually probably auction that one. I'm going to let the market decide what it's worth. And yeah. So thanks for watching and have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.